Beyond the Gradebook, 10 creative ways for constructive feedback. Welcome, educators and lifelong learners. Today, we're diving into the art of constructive feedback in the classroom. Feedback is more than just a tool for assessment. It's a bridge that connects teaching to learning, thoughts to action, and potential to achievement. Constructive feedback is essential in effective teaching, acting as a catalyst for student growth and a vivid illustration of their learning path. It's not just about pointing out areas for improvement. It's about stimulating change, fostering development, and encouraging a deep appreciation for learning. As we embark on this exploration of 10 innovative ways to provide feedback, let's remember, our words can shape perspectives, transform experiences, and ignite the spark of curiosity and confidence in our students. Let's learn to use them wisely and compassionately. Way 1. The sandwich method in the classroom. The sandwich method is a classic yet effective approach. Imagine your feedback like a sandwich. Start with a positive note, something the student did well. This could be their enthusiasm, creativity, or participation. For example, I really appreciated your eagerness to contribute in today's discussion. Then, introduce the area for improvement, but do so gently. I think your presentation could be even more compelling with some additional research on the topic. Finally, end on a positive note, reinforcing their strengths. Your ability to engage with the material creatively is a real asset. This method makes the feedback more palatable and motivating. Now that we've layered our feedback like a sandwich, let's delve into how being specific can make a tremendous difference. Way 2. Be specific with student feedback. Specificity is key. Vague feedback can leave students confused. Be as specific as possible. Instead of saying, "Your essay was good," point out exact strengths and areas for growth. For instance, "Your introduction really captured the main argument effectively. However, adding more evidence in the third paragraph could strengthen your position." This approach not only clarifies what they are doing right, but also provides a clear direction for improvement. It's like giving them a roadmap to excellence, where each signpost is a specific piece of advice tailored to guide them on their educational journey. With our feedback becoming clearer, let's turn to a method that encourages students to think deeper about their own learning. Way 3. Socratic questioning for self-assessment. This method is about prompting students to think critically about their own work. Ask open-ended questions that encourage self-reflection. For example, after a student completes a project, instead of directly stating what could be improved, ask, "What part of your project are you most proud of and why? What would you do differently next time?" This approach not only fosters critical thinking, but also empowers students to take ownership of their learning process. It's about guiding them to find the answers within themselves, turning feedback into a journey of self-discovery and growth. As we encourage self-reflection, it's also vital to keep in mind that our feedback should focus on actions and behaviors, not the student themselves. Way 4. Focus on actions, not the student. It's crucial to ensure that feedback addresses a student's specific actions or work, not their personality. For instance, instead of saying, "You're disorganized," you could say, "Your project would benefit from a more structured approach." This method avoids making students feel personally attacked and instead directs their attention to the specific areas where they can improve. It's about nurturing their growth without undermining their self-esteem, making the feedback process a positive learning experience rather than a discouraging one. Speaking of personalizing feedback, let's explore how using I statements can transform the way students receive our guidance. Way 5. Using I statements to provide feedback. This approach personalizes your observations without casting blame. For example, I noticed that when you engage more in class discussions, your understanding of the topic improves. This method helps in conveying your perspective and concerns without making the student feel criticized. It's a respectful and effective way to communicate, ensuring that the student understands the feedback is coming from your personal observations and is meant to support their growth. After reflecting on our own perspectives, let's shift our focus to the future, highlighting how feedback can pave the way for continuous growth. Way 6. Future-oriented feedback for growth. Instead of focusing on past mistakes, focus on future improvement. After discussing areas that need work, pivot to discussing how to develop these skills. For example, now that we've identified the need for stronger thesis statements in your essays, let's look at strategies to build them. This approach is not just about correcting, but about empowering students with the tools and confidence to improve. It turns feedback into a constructive roadmap for future success. Building on this forward momentum, let's see how creating a culture of feedback in our classrooms can foster an environment of constant learning. Way 7. Fostering a feedback culture in class. Create an environment where regular, open feedback is the norm. This can be done through peer reviews, group discussions, or reflective journaling. For example, organize a peer review session where students respectfully critique each other's work and suggest improvements. This not only helps students learn from each other, but also builds a community of support and continuous improvement. Encouraging students to give and receive feedback regularly demystifies the process and makes it a normal, positive part of the learning journey. As we cultivate this culture, remember the power of constructive critique. Let's dive into how pairing critiques with actionable solutions can be transformative. Way 8. Constructive critique in education. Offer critiques that come with actionable solutions. It's not enough to point out what's wrong. It's vital to provide ways to improve. Say a student struggles with math problems. Instead of just highlighting errors, you could say, "I've noticed some challenges in solving these equations. Let's try breaking down the steps together." This method shows students that you are not just a critic, but a guide and ally in their learning process. It transforms feedback from a point of contention to a collaborative effort towards improvement. Offer critiques that come with actionable solutions. Way 9. Emotional intelligence in feedback. Recognize and respect the emotional aspect of receiving feedback. Tailor your approach to each student's emotional needs. For a student who may be particularly sensitive to criticism, frame your feedback in a way that's encouraging and emphasizes their potential. For example, "I can see how much effort you've put into this, and I believe with a bit more focus on organizing your ideas, your work can really shine." This empathetic approach ensures that feedback is received in a constructive and uplifting manner, nurturing not just academic growth, but also emotional resilience. With empathy in our toolkit, our final step is ensuring that our feedback journey with students is ongoing. Let's talk about the importance of follow-up. Way 10. Follow up for continuous improvement. Ensure that feedback is not a one-off event. Schedule follow-up meetings to discuss progress on the areas highlighted. For instance, after providing feedback on a student's project, arrange a meeting in a few weeks to review their progress and offer further guidance if needed. This ongoing support reinforces the idea that feedback is part of a continuous growth process, not just a box to be ticked. It shows your commitment to their long-term development and success. In conclusion, dear educators, remember that feedback is a powerful tool in shaping the minds and futures of our students. It's not just what we teach, but how we guide and inspire them that leaves a lasting impact. Let's use these innovative feedback techniques to nurture a brighter, more curious, and capable generation. Until next time, keep inspiring.